this is Erica, the librarian at Delmont Gardens, and I'm going to teach you today how to make a mood tracker for the month of November. Supplies are, as always, limited, so please remember first come, first serve, but you can always use this video to follow along and make something at home with the supplies you have. I got this idea off of TikTok, and speaking of TikTok, did you know that we are located on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram under EBRPL Teens? You should give us a follow and send us some of the pictures of the things you've made from our grab and goes. So for this program, you're going to need paper, pencil, an eraser if your pencil is running low on an eraser like mine, something to ink your drawing with, and something to color your drawings with. You're going to need these colors for your different moods during the month. The first thing I'm going to teach you how to draw is a very simple flower. I think that this is a really good one for this type of tracker. It's a chrysanthemum. It has tons and tons of petals, and it is really easy to draw. So to show you, all you have to do to start this is create a spiral. One of the things that I learned in math when I was a student like you guys is that flowers generally follow this thing of radial symmetry. They go in a circle with the Fibonacci sequence. You don't need to know that. I just think it's cool. But it helps me create a guideline for the drawing I'm gonna do. What I do then is right in the center here, where the spiral would meet in the middle, I'm going to draw a shape that looks like a tiny little bean. Super little. And then I'm going to draw a slightly bigger shape that is a slightly bumpier bean, eating that little one. And then on the other side, I'm going to repeat that step. I'm going to keep doing that over and over and over. I can do 3 or 2 little bumps to create the shape of the petals. I try not to have the petals meet in the same spot. So if a petal ends here, I don't end the next one on top of it because it kind of ruins the symmetry there, in my opinion. I just don't think it looks as nice. You can do it however you want. But in doing this, you are going to create a really simple form that's going to look like a pretty awesome flower. So now we're going to create leaves. Chrysanthemums have a sort of a different type of leaf than the one I'm going to show you how to draw. I'm just doing this kind of simple for simple sake. To do a basic leaf, you just take an oval shape that you taper into the center here, and then you do the same thing on the other side. You taper it into the center, have those 2 points meet, and draw a curved line so that it gives it a little more of a three-dimensional effect. And we'll do the same thing over here. And a curved line here. And voila, we have our flower. You can of course do bigger petals if you want, or even tinier, more squiggly petals. The only thing that I recommend is making sure that you have at least 30 petals inside of your flower, 31 depending on the month. You can always do more, but this way you have enough to cover the moods for the month. Since this is a November craft, I'm also going to teach you how to make a November themed mood tracker. What I'm going to do is measure out the space that I'm going to need, about 4 fingers widely spread for each letter. I'm going to do NOV for November. I recommend planning that space because you don't want to start with a big letter and have to smush everything together at the end. That's always kind of annoying. So if you plan it out a little bit, that's going to make your life a lot easier. I decided to go with geometric shapes inside of my November pattern. I drew some lines very freehand. You can use a ruler if you want it more exact, and you can do freehand if you don't mind that organic shape. I did squares on the inside of my letters because I felt that resembled flannel, and I've always felt like November is a flannel kind of month. Earlier, I mentioned needing ink, either by getting pens or markers. You're going to need that because you want to ink in the pattern that you drew. So for this one, I used the pen, but you can use markers if you want. And I went over it so that November, the NOV, would pop off the page. I also plan to ink the insides of my design so that it doesn't smudge with the graphite, and that my color pencils, which is what I will use, but you could use marker or crayons or whatever you want to use, will really pop at the end of the program. So I went over my ink on the inside with a pen. You can see that I made a few mistakes on this. It's not going to be perfect, but if you want it to be perfect, be very, very careful while you're inking, because you could do a wonderful job in your pencil work and then you can ruin it if you are too hasty with inking, which is what I had done in a few spots there. Again, you can create a ruler and follow it that way. I like to freehand things, so that's what you see here. And I just kind of followed my, template lines to create the effect that I wanted, which was a pattern, like a plaid pattern on the inside. The last thing I do after inking is I take my eraser and I erase all the graphite lines that were inside of my letters and inside my drawings so that it comes out very clean and clear, and that when I color it, everything is going to look really, really bright and it's not going to get smudged with graphite. You're going to want to make sure you count how many spaces you have. Like I said earlier, with the flower, you're going to want to make sure you have at least 30. And with this design, you're going to want to have at least 30 as well. When I counted this, I was able to repeat the same date 4.33 times. So keeping that in mind, I then just added in the numbers. I went 1 through 30, but I did each number individually, so I knew I could do them about 4 times each. So I did 1 4 times, 2 4 times, 3 4 times, etc., etc. And then when I had any gaps left over at the end, I just filled them in with numbers that I randomly thought of. Doing this allows you to kind of spread your numbers out a little more randomly. You don't know how your moods are going to be day by day, and sometimes it's nice not to put 1 2 3 4 right next to each other, and instead of have 1 and 17 next to each other. The thing to keep in mind with this project is that you are going to, after creating dates, you're going to create a color chart for the moods that you feel. I went in my color charts with things like loved, joy, anger, confusion, excitement, blessed, fear, sadness, and things like that to track a variety of moods, and then I made each mood a different color. So love is pink, joy was purple, anger is red, confused is green, excitement is yellow, blessed is magenta, fear is orange, and sad is blue. In doing that, I then will check how I feel at the end of each day. If on the first I end the day feeling happy, the first will get colored in purple. If I end the day being angry, it will be colored in red. And then you do that every day for that numbered date and color it in day by day. The results you're going to see at the end of this video are actually randomized. I just selected numbers and randomly assigned them feelings so that I had an example to show for you, but I will be making one of my own to follow my moods in November for you to see. But coming up next is just the example of my November one for November and my flower one for November. I will be sending you guys home with templates of both the flower and the November one, but please feel free to make your own designs, and then share them with us if you'd like to on our Instagram. We would love to see what you created. I hope that you all have a lot of fun with this. I hope your moods are happy, and I will see you at our next Grab and Go program. Thanks for coming.